Dave Simon and his co-hosts are completing the remaining finishing touches for tonight's episode. If you are watching the replay, you can skip to the 4-minute and 54-second mark to get to Dave's intro. While you are waiting, watching live, take a look at the news and articles about pro wrestling and MMA from The Authority, the Ringside Report Network. Our website is at ringsidereport.net. That's ringsidereport.net.
Please wait. Hold on. Keep waiting. Almost done. 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 Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Please wait. Hold on. Keep waiting. Almost done. 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 Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment. Subscriber is speaking at the moment.
Welcome to today's broadcast from the Ringside Report Network. We are a viewer and listener-supported creative team. We would really appreciate it if you became a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. While you are waiting, watching live, take a look at the news and articles about pro wrestling and MMA, and while there, check out our exclusive merch, including great jiu-jitsu gear from the Ringside Report Network. Our website is at ringsidereport.net. It's ringsidereport.net.
Subscriber is speaking at the moment.
It is Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we preview Dvalishvili versus Barber at UFC Vegas this weekend. UFC 316 going down next week, and the people petitioning for Jon Jones to be stripped.
Let's go!
The people. Some people. People like AJ. People like this guy. What's up, this guy?
What's up, that guy?
Hey.
What's going on there? What's going on here?
What's going on everywhere?
I can tell you a few places that are happening everywhere and nowhere and up and down and north, south, west, and east all at the same time. That's
don't know
BJ
what you're
Penn,
talking
bud.
about. Ooh, okay.
BJ Penn, exactly.
Let's
he doesn't
not
know what he's
start the
talking
show
about.
with that, shall we?
Come on, Dave.
Come
Let's get
on.
into
Let's
it.
do
Right to the
something more
fire,
fun,
man.
AJ. No, we'll talk about BJ
I
Penn
think
a
that's
little
pretty
bit.
fun.
No, it's not fun. The conversation we're going to have about BJ Penn is not going to be fun, so let's save that for later. Let's start with some more fun. Let's enjoy ourselves.
Such as?
I don't know.
Enjoy yourselves. Okay,
How
I
you
can
doing?
do that, bud.
How's everything going?
I'm doing
You
good,
all right?
bud.
There you go.
Going good, man. Going good.
Yeah.
Hanging in
to
a
see you.
Thursday night in Montreal.
Yeah. No Fred
You know,
tonight.
starting
Fred's at his daughter's soccer game, so he couldn't make it.
Yeah. South Shore soccer, dude.
Very big, very important.
Much better than Montreal soccer right now.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Freddie, yeah, I do, unfortunately. Yeah, Freddie's taking it easy tonight with his kids, and
Yes.
here we are, man.
But we are here, and
Going
we
with
have
the
a
show
lot to
still.
get to.
We do.
Yeah. There's a UFC going on this weekend. We got a pay-per-view next weekend. We've got Merab Dvalishvili
baby.
defending his championship against Sean O'Malley next weekend. Sean O'Malley's been training with all sorts of people for this fight. Brought in Demetrius Johnson to help him against Merab. Like, this is
Wow.
a very big fight for Sean O'Malley. This is a very big fight for the UFC. This is a very big fight for the sport. Sean O'Malley wins. You may usher in a new golden era for the UFC where people are excited and you're buying pay-per-views and you have a champion that's a bankable star that's selling tickets, that's selling pay-per-views, that's moving numbers for the UFC. You stay with Merab Dvalishvili as champion and, things remain the way they are. And Merab is cool and Merab is a good fighter. But Merab is not moving the needle like Sean O'Malley has. And I think the UFC hopes will continue in the future. I mean, the UFC didn't make Sean O'Malley win a fight after losing the championship to Merab. Even though O'Malley had only defended the championship once, he beat Aljo on a fight that was scheduling-wise more advantageous for O'Malley than it was for Sterling. Then he fights Chito Vera, which... Chito was not the number one contender. O'Malley, has a pretty easy defense against him because he had the one loss to Chito. This was his kind of pick for the UFC. Like, UFC was like, who do you want to fight? And he's like, I want to fight Marlon Vera. And they're like, well, he's ranked 7th, but you lost to him, so okay. Let you have that one. That was a gimme for O'Malley, and he got it. And then he had to fight Merab because they couldn't tiptoe around the issue forever, and he loses to Merab. Then they give him like a year off while Merab has to fight Umar, who's very tough. Merab handles Umar, which I think, the betting odds had Merab, I think, as the underdog going into it. So people expected Umar. Yep. Umar does not win. Merab survives, and now Merab, after fighting Sean O'Malley back in September of 2024, and O'Malley has not fought since, by the way, not quite a year, but it's, a good chunk of time. Umar fight was in January, and now Merab, January to June. It's like Umar January 18th. He gets like 6 months-ish, 5-ish months to prepare. It's not like a short training camp or anything for Merab, but it's a quicker turnaround for him. He just had a tough fight with Umar Nurmagomedov, first guy to beat him. Now he's fighting Sean O'Malley next weekend. Just scheduling-wise, the way it was booked, the way it all came together, it feels like the UFC is trying to set something up here for Sean O'Malley to become their champion. You know? Kind of like the way they did it with Aljo. Which, I don't know. And even with, the timing of the fight being in O'Malley's favor, I'm not sure that O'Malley gets it done. Like, I don't think he's going to do it. I think Merab beats him. Merab beat him pretty badly last time.
Yeah, but there was a lot of
Merab handled
factors,
him
Dave,
pretty
man.
easily. You think it goes a
Let-
different
let's
way?
not- Look, man, it was supposed to go O'Malley's way the first time they fought. But the thing is that and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a lot of issues for O'Malley to go into that fight. He had some serious injuries, and you could have told that it wasn't O'Malley in the ring. He was injured going in there, all kinds of factors. I forgot there was a whole bunch of things other than his injuries.
Mm.
There he was at his worst.
Maybe.
And he still went in there and he still threw a war. But what I'm saying is that O'Malley, who was the favorite going in there against Merab, I personally would have probably pulled away from that fight, considering the injuries that he had. I would have pulled away.
Which were?
People would have hated him.
Which were?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was his foot and ankle and something like that. If you just want to double check, it was a while back, but yeah, it was a labrum. He had a labrum injury, man. That's
Okay.
I mean, and he still fought. That's incredible.
Labrum is
but I would
where?
I would
It's
have.
your shoulder, isn't it?
It's the hip.
Oh, hip.
Near the
yeah.
hip, man.
I have no idea.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
I'm so
it's
dumb.
the only it's like the worst thing that can happen to you to go into a fight when you've got like issues with like the hip.
What's a
man.
labrum?
You might as well. Hey, you like the labrum, eh? Dave, you like
who
that
knows?
labrum.
Work that labrum,
Hey.
baby.
Merab loved the labrum, but O'Malley didn't, and that was the problem. So going into that fight, this guy should not have been fighting. Point final. He went in there, lost. If I would have known that he had that type of injury, I would have been like, this guy is crazy.
Wow.
Just like Conor
Torn leg-
went in.
He had hip surgery after the fight.
Yeah, man, it was that bad, dude. He shouldn't have
Wow.
been in the octagon. And he had something else too. There was something on top of that as well. I want to say something with his family or something happened as well. So the guy was not at his best. Mind you, here comes Merab and he beats Umar. That's not a joke. Undefeated going in. That's a big stamp there to say, holy shit, man. Merab is really that guy. But again, O'Malley's reach, O'Malley's striking powers, O'Malley should have won that first match, in my opinion. But again, coming back after that Umar win, it makes you question, can O'Malley be able to do it? If he's 100% healthy, I think it's going to be a very, very different fight. That's my opinion, but,
Yeah.
it's going to be an interesting one, dude.
No, that's a good point,
Merab
man.
is
I mean, you're making a good point about the labrum. It's something that I didn't consider. Like, I know that I knew he had some sort of injury. There was talk after the fight about like injury, but after the fight, I kind of go, whatever. What's next? O'Malley's hurt. He's hurt after the fight. A lot of guys are hurt after the fight. I kind of ignored that was going on. But thinking on it now, like if you had to have hip surgery, you had a torn labrum, which is in the hip, by the way, as we learned tonight on the show. And then you had to have surgery on your hip after the fight. Like, that's a significant injury that's for sure going to impact your ability to defend a takedown. Like, how do you sprawl with a torn hip? If your hip is so bad that you need to have surgery, how are you sprawling and defending any takedowns ever? Because sprawling is all in the hips. Defending the takedown is all in the hips. Heavy hips. And if you're injured there, that's going to affect people that don't fight may not understand, like hips are so important in grappling, hip pressure. Hips are so important when you're throwing strikes, the rotation, like it's everything. Wow. And if you have an injured hip, like I'm not really sure how he fought. How did he fight? He's, these UFC fighters at the championship level, they're made of different stuff, right? It's really
crazy.
It's a superhuman athlete. They're unbelievable. And Sean O'Malley, don't let the gimmick fool you. He's a killer. He's really good.
Oh, yeah.
But like he was manhandled by Merab. And I guess if he needed hip surgery, it's not really a surprise. But he still took the fight. You know what I mean? He still took
And
the
he
fight.
lost by decision. Think about it. He lost by a decision.
Yeah,
Like,
but it was pretty
considering that he
one-sided.
had-
Like, I remember
I
Merab was
know,
like beating
dude.
him pretty good.
But still, he was there
Yeah.
and he went the distance, 5 rounds, man. That's the difference when you look back and you say, holy shit. Like, think about yourself when you can't get up from a chair, when you have like a bad back or something is off with your leg. Forget about kicking, forget about wrestling, forget about just like even sitting on a toilet at times. Here's this guy going 5 rounds with Merab and he didn't get knocked out. Comprende?
Yeah, I just
That's-
the toilet comment just kind of threw me. But yeah, I think I
But
think
it's
that there's
true.
a good point as far as the injury, but at the same time, AJ, we know this from watching fights and covering fights for years and years that nobody ever goes into a fight 100%. So
Yeah, but there's certain levels, dude. You know what I'm
there
saying?
are,
Like
yeah,
there's
sure,
certain
but he
levels
still
of
took
you
the
not.
fight. He still took the fight. I don't know.
You know what? When you're that ticket, man,
It sounds
look,
to me like you're
I'm
picking
sure-
O'Malley for the rematch, AJ.
look again. If O'Malley is going in there at 100%, I think O'Malley should have won that first fight. You know, I mean, there's a little bit where you got to give credit to Merab to take apart Umar, which was like, you know, he was not the favorite going in that fight as well. Umar was supposed to win it according to everybody, and
Yeah.
he didn't. But O'Malley is a different fighter, man. His striking game, man, his everything that if he plays that Muay Thai game against Merab and able to defend like the takedowns and whatnot, I think he's gonna take it. It's not gonna be easy, but again, you know, a guy went 5 rounds with basically no hips. How do you do that? You know, so that's impressive. But again, that's not a good sign, right? The guy went into surgery. I forgot how many months he was off, like coming back from surgery and everything. It took him at least like 4 to 5 months of rehabilitation. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of wear and tear on O'Malley at a very young age. So I'm saying at the moment, he's still young. He could probably perform at a level that most people can't. But will he be able to ride the tide for, you know, the long term? You know, there's certain injuries where they destroy you. And I was just getting back to what I was trying to say earlier with Conor McGregor. When Conor went in the fight with was it with Dustin? Yeah, I think it was with Dustin. No, it was with Khabib. He went in there with a hairline fracture on his shin. I mean,
That was a Dustin fight.
yeah, but
And
he
then
lost.
it
Yeah, it was
totally
the Dustin fight.
fractured
Yeah,
when he threw the
It
kick.
shattered
and then
his leg.
Yeah.
just split in half. And that's the thing is that like just a hairline fracture on a shin is probably like a lot of discomfort for people that are like everyday walks of life or jogging or walking. It's going to be uncomfortable even up to a year. But when you're throwing heavy kicks and you're checking certain kicks in Muay Thai, a hairline fracture, man, if you get it good, your leg will shatter, man. It's like fucking glass that shatters. And you know, again, it's just a hairline fracture, but it was enough. If you look back, that Conor should have just walked away from that because his training camp, just like O'Malley, sucked. He shouldn't have fought. It would have been a different Conor if he didn't take that fight, and it would have been a different fight for O'Malley if he didn't take the Merab fight. You know, but O'Malley's injury is much greater than Conor's when you look at it. But Conor's was much more devastating when it happened. You know, just
different injuries, different fighters.
Well,
and you know, one
but
is active and one is Conor McGregor. But Sean O'Malley is definitely going to make that walk. I have full confidence that he's going to show up to the fight. You know, knowing that he showed up with a torn labrum, I think he's going to show up next week. And he will fight Merab Dvalishvili, and we'll do a watch-along for that, and it'll be a lot of fun. We got a big night scheduled for you on June the 7th here on the Ringside Report Network. Right? We're doing a watch-along June 7th? That's the plan, right? UFC 316.
bud.
And is that Money in the Bank, too? Is it the same night as Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank.
Oh, my God. Is it? What a night we're going to have. Good God. It's the same night as Money in the Bank, brother. Oof. Oof. It's going to be fun, AJ.
It's always
Money
fun,
in the
man.
Bank is one of the best wrestling shows of the year.
I do. I kind of enjoy watching it as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, what a night we have next weekend. Merab Dvalishvili, Sean O'Malley. Like, it's a legit UFC championship main event that I'm actually excited for. There's a lot riding on this fight. It's a good rivalry, you know?
That's what she said.
She said it's a good rivalry. Why'd you
No,
say
who was
that?
riding on it?
There's a
You went
lot
past
riding on the
dude.
fight.
Keep going.
She said there's a
Yeah.
lot riding on the fight. That's what she said.
No.
Why did she say that? You just heard riding, and you were like, "That's what she said."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you
where I
don't
left
really
it at, but
understand
you
how
killed the
to
joke,
apply
man.
it. I think.
Nah.
What'd you say?
Keep going, bud. Keep rolling, man.
That's what she said. Yeah. See, that's
Bravo,
how you do it.
Dave. Bravo.
That's how you do it.
Bravo. I love it.
Yeah, I'm good at it.
That's what she said.
There you go. Well done.
Bum.
Hey. So next week we
Thank
got a
you.
good UFC card. We got Julianna Peña in the co-main event against Kayla Harrison. That's one of the biggest women's fights in a very long time. That's a
Oh,
big
yeah.
deal fight. Julianna Peña has made herself into a star. She's the only person in the past, 5, 6, 7, 8 years to beat Amanda Nunes. I mean, Julianna Peña, okay, she lost to her the second time, but she still beat Amanda Nunes, tapped her, and she's the only person to do that.
Well,
Well,
Dave,
so-
Dave.
Did she not tap her? She tapped her in December of 2021.
Let's not forget. Let's
Yeah,
not
and then
forget
Amanda
the first
beat her up,
round
of
and the
course,
injury and COVID.
Yeah,
and
whatever.
all that.
Well, excuses are excuses, okay?
No, it's
the
fact, man. It
fact
was
of
a
the
10-8
matter
first
remains,
round.
AJ, that she's the only person to beat Amanda Nunes in 10 years. So that was pretty good. Julianna Peña is a big deal. She made herself into a star, whether you like her or not, AJ. And I know you want to take her win away because I was predicting it for months, and you want to take that away from me. That's really what it's about, and I get it.
Yeah, but
because
let's be
I
honest.
gloated
That's
big
a
time
great
after that
example.
one because I was calling
You did, man.
the biggest upset
You were the
ever
only one who called it.
for
You did.
like months and months, and then it happened, and I was like, I fucking told you. That was the best night of all time.
Yeah,
that was
but
amazing.
you were right on that. But the fact is that just like O'Malley and Connor, Amanda was like in a very bad situation
All
health
right.
wise.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
She came back and
And-
she beat her,
and-
and she showed who the better fighter was.
She
in
destroyed
the
her.
second
She didn't just
fight.
beat her.
Yes.
She destroyed her when she came back.
I agree. Nevertheless,
but-
Julianna Peña has found herself back as the champion after beating Raquel Pennington in her last fight. And now she's fighting Kayla Harrison, who came over from the PFL to become a star in the UFC. And this is her third fight in the UFC, and she's getting a title shot. This is a big deal. This is what Kayla Harrison is in the UFC for. She's here to get a title shot. She's here to become champion. She's here to potentially fight Amanda Nunes, I think, if she becomes champion. So this is a massive fight where Nunes, the greatest of all time, may come back to fight Kayla and may come back to fight Julianna in a trilogy if she beats Kayla. Because then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, Julianna is something else, isn't she? And Amanda can come back and show everybody who's who and what is what.
Who's the boss?
Yeah, Tony Danza. So I think there's a lot of, fun options here
Old
with
school,
this
man.
fight.
Woo.
It's a big fight. I'm not sure who's going to win. I'm siding with Kayla Harrison. I think the odds makers are too. Right now, by the way, O'Malley plus 250, Merab minus 310. Julianna plus 455, Kayla minus 625. A heavy favorite. Heavy.
Kind of makes sense, man.
Yeah. And then we got some other fun
And-
fights. Kelvin Gastelum, Joe Pyfer, Patchy Mix. I think this will be this is his UFC debut. He was a Bellator champion. He's coming into the UFC 20-1. Patchy Mix, 31 years old. He was the Bellator bantamweight champion. Has not lost a fight in 5 years.
Oh, I think he did lose. Well, yeah,
Not
he
in-
lost one. Yeah, that's
Not
it.
in 5 years. He lost in 2020, and since then has gone on a 7-fight win streak, including a win in the Bellator
Patchy.
bantamweight Grand Prix that he won to become the Bellator champion.
Yeah, he's dangerous, man. This guy, and he has everything going for him, including a pretty cool name.
Patchy Mix taking on Mario Batista in his UFC
man.
debut next weekend. And then you got Vicente
Who was
Luque
supposed to
and
be
Kevin
fighting
Holland.
he was supposed to,
Huh?
he was supposed to be fighting Marlon Vera, Batista. So like
Yeah.
Patchy Mix is like basically thrown in the mix.
Very fun.
You know,
Thrown in the mix. You know, it's a patchwork job. Vicente Luque taking on Kevin Holland, a really nice welterweight fight as well to round out a pretty solid 5-fight pay-per-view for the UFC at UFC 316 next weekend. The only thing that they're missing for 316 is, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So hopefully he makes an appearance. You know,
I hope he does, man.
can't have
so
UFC
cool.
316 without Austin 316.
And then you got Johnny Walker that's there on the prelims, man. He's like heading it against Azmat. So Azmat, this guy is 14-0. He's like one of the contenders coming up in the light heavyweight. So let's see what he could do with good old Johnny, man.
I don't know what you're talking
Super
about.
Worm. In the prelims,
Johnny
man.
Walker's out of the fight.
Is he? What are you talking about?
Brenson Ribeiro has replaced him to fight Azamat Mirzakhanov. Johnny Walker pulled out of the
Wow. Put your money on Azamat, my friend. What? What happened with Johnny, man?
fight.
Did he do the Super Worm again and like hurt himself?
I'm not seeing a bad injury, apparently.
Again, I can imagine. Either dancing or like break dancing.
I don't know. He pulled out of UFC 311 with a bad injury. There's no news right now. I'm not seeing any news
because he's still
about
on the card
why
for
Johnny
316.
Walker UFC 316, but yeah, I don't know. Johnny Walker pulled out of the fight. Not sure why.
Man, so much potential, Johnny, and he's going to be like history soon. I think, you know what? This is 2 fights now. I think Dana White is going to probably, you know, release this guy.
Well, I don't know. There's no like official story. It's kind of unknown reasons why Johnny Walker pulled out or was removed from the fight, but Brenson Ribeiro is replacing him, and he will be Azamat Mirzakhanov's opponent next weekend. This weekend we got some UFC in Las Vegas, another fight at the Apex. We've got a pretty good main event with Aaron Blanchfield against Macy Barber, 2 of the top flyweights in the UFC. Might see title implications for this fight. Like, the winner of this could take on Valentina easily. It's not bad. Saturday night.
No.
At the Apex. The rest of the card is, whatever. It's an Apex Fight Night card.
It's all right.
Mateusz Gamrot against Ludovic Klein is not a bad co-main event. Gamrot is always solid. He's one of the better lightweights in the UFC.
He is, man. He is, but he's going up against Klein, and Klein has won 6 of his last 7 UFC fights. Even though Gamrot is the favorite in the fight, you know what? Look at Klein. I think he's like underrated, but he's a beast, man.
Gamrot's hard to beat. He's got a very
solid grappling, man. Great striking
style.
Accuracy.
Really good.
He does. That's the thing. But I'm just saying, Klein is there. He's solid. He might pull the upset.
Interesting. Well, we'll do. You want to do a thing? You want to do a parlay and like get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
We could do that. UFC Vegas, UFC at the Apex. Aaron Blanchfield taking on Macy Barber. Aaron Blanchfield, 26 years old, an absolute phenom in the sport. Her lone loss in the UFC comes to Manon Fiorot. She bounced back from that loss with a dominant decision victory over Rose Namajunas, former champion in the division. Blanchfield, just 26, with a 13-2 record. I can't help but think that at some point she's going to be champion in the UFC. She's so good. She's got so much potential. She's faced some top-level competition. I think she's right there. I think she's very close. Macy Barber, 27 years old, on a hell of a run herself. She's got a 14-2 record, 6 straight wins now in the UFC, including a win over Caitlin Sermonara, who used to be Caitlin Chukagian before the marriage. She's very tough. She beat Amanda Heba. Montana De La Rosa, Miranda Maverick. Macy Barber's picked up some nice wins here on this current streak that she's on. This is a good fight between two young, up-and-coming flyweights in the UFC division. And, this is a big one for both of them because, like I said, could be title implications. And either way, you win, your career goes one way. You lose, your career, doesn't go the way you want it to go. So, you want to win every fight, but this is a real interesting one between two prospects that could be title challengers really, really soon. I'm going with Erin Blanchfield, though. I've been very impressed with Blanchfield. I think her grappling is better than Macy's, and I think she's going to out-wrestle her. I think Erin probably wins by decision. I think this will be a tough fight. Macy Barber knows what Erin Blanchfield is going to want to do. She's going to be ready for it. Macy's got she's got good cardio. She's got a lot of energy in there. Good striking. This is not going to be a walk in the park for Erin Blanchfield. This is a very good fight. Really solid main event put together by the UFC this weekend. I like this Macy Barber, Erin Blanchfield fight. I'm definitely going to watch it. Like I said, Blanchfield is the favorite, though, AJ.
And if you look at both of those fighters, none of them have ever lost by a finish. They go the distance. So if you wanted to put a little extra money, put it on a decision win. You're right. These two, like Blanchfield, if you look at who she's defeated, she's beat Molly McCann, Meatball. She's beat Jessica Andrade. She's beat Talia Santos. She beat Rose. So the girl has some serious skills. Her grappling is solid. And so is Macy Barber. And when you look at her, this girl has great takedown accuracy. She's at 43%. Her takedown defense is at 53%. So what is it going to come down to with these two? Are they going to, get down on the octagon and grapple, or is it going to be a straight fight? I agree with you. I think, it's a tough one to call because they're two solid individuals. It's just that this Blanchfield, man, it keeps coming above the radar and always she's getting to the top, to the throne. And I agree with you. I think Blanchfield is going to win it, but she'll win it by decision. I don't think anybody's getting knocked out, and I don't think anyone's going to be submitted. I think it's going to be like a dogfight. But, history shows that none of these two, actually, what was it? I think it was Barber, 7 out of her last 8 have gone the distance. So put a little extra, put it on a decision win for Blanchfield.
Okay. I don't hate that.
Neither do I, bud.
I don't hate it at all. Okay. We've also got another interesting women's fight here. Women's bantamweight fight. Ketlin Vieira.
Oh, yeah.
Taking
Macy.
on Macy Chiasson.
Chasson.
That's a good
Chasson.
fight right there. I think I'm going with Macy, though, on that one.
So you're going with all females on this. All right.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a little ladies parlay, and I'm going to round it out with maybe another man's fight. I'm going to go with Macy minus 125. I like Blanchfield minus 250, and I'm going to go with Jordan Levitt over Kurt Hollabaugh at minus 240.
That's on the prelim, eh?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that's going to be the Dave parlay. I like Jordan Levitt. I think he's a better grappler than Hollabaugh.
Yeah, man.
Hollabaugh's a little
Jordan
bit older.
Levitt. Yeah, he's something, that Jordan Levitt. When he came in, he was so creative. He's
and the losses he's taken are too tough,
like
Patty Pimblett and somebody else that's good.
Yeah.
Dan Hooker.
But he's
I think,
always
maybe,
exciting.
Something.
I think it was Hooker. And the thing is that with Levitt, he always makes the fights entertaining. So, win or lose, you'll get a interesting fight. But 11-3 against 22-9 for Kurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Like
I think you're on the money on that one.
Thank you.
And you're always pretty good on the women picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think
this is a good parlay.
Almost hitting 100.
I'm pretty confident with this parlay. It's a 3-fight parlay. 20 gets you 71.40 over at bet99.com using that promo code Ringside. You got Jordan Levitt. You've got Macy Chiasson at minus 125 over Ketlin Vieira, and then you've got Aaron Blanchfield minus 250 over Macy Barber. That's a Team Dave parlay, and I like it. I went right for it, AJ. Notice there was no hesitation in that parlay. I didn't kind of dilly-dally around. I wasn't thinking about it too much. I was like, yeah, these are my picks. This is what I like. Here we go. Just
Straight to the
jumped,
point, man.
It jumped
Speed
out
dating.
at me, AJ, which is a good sign. The gods are talking to me, AJ, and they're telling me Blanchfield, Chiasson, Levitt is the parlay this weekend, brother.
Le Chasson, le Levitt,
Chasson.
et la Blanchfield.
Gotta get that Blanchfield. What do
You
you
like
got?
that Blanchfield, eh? Listen, man, I'm on the page with you on Blanchfield, but
Doesn't
I
have
would
to
put
be
a little
Blanchfield.
bit.
It could be in any color field.
It could be, but this one is a Blanche. But I'm gonna go with Blanchfield with the decision. So I'm gonna put a little extra on that. I'm going with win for Blanchfield and the manner of win. So put a little extra. And then I'm gonna be going with the underdog. I think Klein is going to, manhandle the Gamrot. The Rot is a tough fighter and all, but this Klein, man, he's something.
Did you just call him
Solid.
the Rot?
The Rot. The Gam Rot.
Mateusz Gamrot is now just the Rot. That's good.
But you know what? He's a beast. So let's you never know.
You're going
but
with Ludo Klein.
I'm going, yes, just like Calvin.
Okay. That's it?
If it's so good, it's got to be. No. Wait. And I got one more. I'm going to go with Billy Ray Goff. Good old Billy, man.
Cyrus.
Fighting Ramiz. Listen, Ramiz is very inconsistent. Billy, man, he's like 9-3 in the UFC. Great striking, man. He's won 7 times by KO, TKO. And that's what I'm trying to say is Ramiz is very inconsistent. If this fight is going down, I think Billy Ray is going to knock him out, or there will be a stoppage. So that's it, man. I'm just going with 3 today. That's it.
I like it. We're both doing 3-fight parlays. AJ's got Klein, Goff, and Blanchfield by decision. 20 gets you 114.08 over at bet99.com. It's a plus 470
And you know what,
parlay.
Dave? Is it too late to add a little extra on that?
Never too late. What do you got?
That's what I like to hear. I would put Billy Ray for the knockout.
Oh, we're switching Billy
KO,
Ray
TKO.
from a win to a knockout.
No, he's going to win. No.
Yeah, I know.
I want the win.
Billy by KO, TKO, or DQ.
Yes, sir.
Plus 140.
Yep.
So now your parlay goes from 20 to win 215.
Wow. That's nice.
So, Ludo Klein, plus
happening.
130. Blanchfield by decision. Goff by knockout. 20 gets you 215 over at bet99.com. I love it. Nice parlay. Good stuff, pal.
Yeah, it's it's a good one, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Macy there too. Oh, look who's there! I forgot our good old friend Dusko is on that card too. Dodorovic
Dushko
against Reese's Pieces.
Okay.
Dusko.
So, John Jones, there's a petition going around.
Yeah.
Some people are signing to strip John Jones of the heavyweight championship. Cool. You wanted to talk about it. I think it's dumb. Who cares?
Listen, man, there's over 100,000
Strip
signatures, and if you want,
Who cares?
what?
Well, yeah,
There's
they should strip him.
100,000
He's
signatures.
retired.
Listen, man, that shows you how much interest is in John Jones. I mean, the guy has like 100,000 signatures at change.org. So if you want to put your 100,000 plus one, Angelo, you hear me? Do it. I mean, John Jones is laughing it off, but man, there's like a lot of like Jones, I don't want to say haters, but like disgruntled people. And in fact, you know what?
Haters.
Listen,
Haters. Haters and people that are totally uneducated. Let me tell you a story, AJ, of something that happened to me today. A guy comes up to me who I barely know, who is like, "Oh, John Jones, you still don't think he's ducking Aspinall. I'm like, what? Why would he duck Aspinall? You think he's scared of Tom Aspinall? And he's like, oh, yeah, he's scared because Aspinall is the heavyweight GOAT. And I'm like, Tom Aspinall is your heavyweight GOAT. Who has he beat? Curtis Blades? In my world, you got to prove it to me. And in my world, John Jones has proven it to me for over a decade that he is the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. And the only people that are signing petitions to get him stripped of the championship or who think he's ducking Tom Aspinall are people that don't know shit about MMA. They don't know a goddamn thing. They haven't followed the sport long enough. They don't know who John Jones beat. They don't know who Lyoto Machida is. They don't know who Vitor Belfort is. And they have absolutely no respect or desire to learn. And they need to shut their fucking mouths because they don't know the first thing about the sport. And they need to stay in their lane and stop this dumb shit because they're seeing it online like, oh, Tom Aspinall's funny on Twitter. He's trolling John Jones, so he must be a better fighter because he's a better troll, which is dumb as hell. John Jones is so much better than Tom Aspinall could ever aspire to be. Call me when Tom Aspinall is a reigning defending champion for over 10 years. Call me when Tom Aspinall can main event pay-per-views that people will actually buy. Call me when Tom Aspinall is worth a damn, and then maybe I'll call John Jones and tell him to fight him. Until then, shut the fuck up.
Don't hold back, Dave. You're holding back. I feel it. Like, say what you really want to, say. Don't be shy, bud.
I did. I said
it's your show. Say what you want.
It's done. I did it. I know.
You okay?
It feels good to have the platform where I have the microphone and I can say,
it's like a Dr. Phil hate rant.
Well, it's just dumb. I'm just so annoyed with these people who think they know something. You think, just the concept of John Jones being scared to fight a man is so insane. It's insane. Do you know who he's fighting? Do you know who he is? It's ridiculous. Imagine John Jones wasn't scared to fight Daniel Cormier, but he's trembling, won't fight Tom Aspinall. John Jones was willing to fight Daniel Cormier at a press conference.
Which he did, kind of.
Daniel Cormier is a much better fighter than Tom Aspinall. Much better. Tom
But you know what's interesting,
not the
Dave?
heavyweight GOAT. Somebody actually had the balls to say, who's the heavyweight GOAT? And I was like,
well, he's up there, Dave. Let's be honest. What?
Who's he beat? Who has he beat? Sergey Pavlovich and Curtis Blades?
I mean, they're no chump chains, those two. But
yeah,
I see what you're getting at.
Though. They kind of are a little bit, though.
What's up, Angelo? Listen,
did they
Dave,
go to the Olympics? Were they ever world champion? Because I could name you several world champions that John Jones defeated. Let me just
including
rattle
Olympians.
off some UFC world champions that John Jones beat. Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua, Vitor Belfort, Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans, Daniel Cormier. I could go on. Now tell
Cyril
me the
Gane.
UFC champions Tom Aspinall has beat. I'll wait.
Still waiting.
No, I'm still waiting. I don't think he's beaten anybody.
Listen, man. Look,
Who
Tom
has he
Aspinall is no doubt. Listen,
To
Tom
beat the
Aspinall
man,
is no doubt.
you gotta beat the man. And unfortunately, Tom Aspinall will never become a man. He'll never become a real boy because John Jones will never give him the grace to step into the octagon with him because he's not worth it. He hasn't earned it. He's trying to get
England's
something
come down
that
on
you
you,
only
Dave.
get. Like Alex Pereira earned John Jones' attention because he beat a bunch of dudes and he was very dominant and he was a world champion and people were like, damn, this guy's cool. Alex Pereira did the thing. Tom Aspinall should shut up and fight. If Tom Aspinall actually cleared out the heavyweight division, maybe John Jones would consider fighting him. But The UFC is playing this game where they're like, oh, we're going to give you the Jones fight, Tom Aspinall. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll get this fight. But what really should be happening is the UFC should say, okay, John, so you don't want to fight Aspinall? Okay. We're not going to be able to entice you into it. Okay. We're going to strip you of the championship. You could sit on the shelf. And if you want to come back, great. If you don't, thanks for the memories. That, they should strip him because I don't think he wants to fight Aspinall. So strip him, make Aspinall right away. Instead of interim champion, he's just the champion, and have him fight Cyril Gane. And if he can beat Cyril Gane, have him fight somebody else. And if he can beat that guy and it's worth something, have him fight somebody else. And then maybe at the end of a year or two, when you've beaten 2 or 3 guys and defended your championship, you'll make enough noise and John Jones will decide, like, okay, it's time. Come get it. And then he'll get you and he'll beat you, and then that'll be that.
You know what's interesting, Dave?
That's really what should be happening. But we got all this bullshit going on where the fans are like, well, some of the fans, the younger fans that don't know shit, are like, whoa, John Jones is scared. And, Dana's playing these games. Dana said John Jones will fight this summer. Dana said John Jones will fight Tom Aspinall. He didn't say those two things in the same sentence. Those were 2 different sentences. One was John Jones will fight this summer. Didn't say who. And then at another point, he's like, oh, John Jones' next fight's going to be Tom Aspinall. So if you take the 2 things that Dana has said, you figure, oh, Dana's saying John Jones and Tom Aspinall is going to happen this summer. It's not happening this summer. All the fights are booked for the summer. All the fights are basically booked till October, November. So he's not fighting Tom Aspinall this summer. I don't think he's fighting Tom Aspinall this year. Maybe November at Madison Square Garden. But
which would
that's
be
like a big
cool.
maybe. That's a big maybe. So we just need to move on, These petition shit, these people that think they know. It's just like, come on, man.
Well,
it's a business.
There's a lot of
it's
hype.
A business. It's a bottom line issue. And I hate saying this over and over again, but would you fight a guy who co-main evented a pay-per-view in his last fight and didn't even co-main event like a Conor pay-per-view? He co-main evented Bilal and Leon, which was like a real nothing fight.
Yeah.
Whack. Come on, man. Like, the guy is not a draw. Tom Aspinall is not a draw. The only thing that's making him relevant is John Jones, And that's the thing. Like, if he beats John Jones, I don't know if his next fight would even be that big of a deal, because who would he really fight?
True, you got a good point.
Like, that's
there.
another thing. Aspinall's like obviously desperate to fight Jones because Jones is the only money fight in his division. There's nobody he could really fight that'll make any kind of money.
Unless Pereira decides to go up to heavyweight, but other than that, I mean,
dude, Pereira's
right.
fighting
There's not too many.
Ankalaev for the light heavyweight belt. Like, he's not going up.
No, he's
Pereira
not. I'm
needs
not saying like this year, but
This is what the future of Pereira holds. Fights Ankalaev, loses to Ankalaev, retires.
you think so?
Yeah.
Mm.
He's like 38, 39. Like,
Yeah, he's up there.
Come on,
he's
man.
38.
He's been fighting kickboxing before UFC and everything. Double champ. He's done it all. You lose to Ankalaev again, it's maybe like, all right, maybe he'll keep fighting.
but that
I don't
was
know.
questionable,
but
dude.
I could see him retiring after losing to Ankalaev again. And I believe he will lose to Ankalaev again.
I don't believe he lost, and there's a lot of people that agree with me. Like, that fight was like questionable.
Yeah,
we've been through it. But what I'm saying is that it'll be an interesting fight to see again and see what really happens. I mean, everybody has a bad night, Unfortunately, I think that wasn't his greatest night. No. But I'm going to get back to one thing that you said about the John Jones thing, which I found very interesting, including on our show. Like, if I see a lot of comments that come in, or people are sending them to me or whatnot, being it on our full shows, being it on our shorts, being it on Instagram, Twitter, what's the other one? TikTok, whatever.
Yeah.
I could not believe the amount of comments that came on our show last week on the fact that there was a lot of I'm telling you, Dave, a lot of upset people that were not very, I gotta say, they weren't very happy with you saying that John Jones was the GOAT, and including myself or Fred, because they were calling us there was somebody that called us some name, and I checked it up, and it apparently means that we were overhyping the fact of John Jones. But there was more negative feedback on us because of that whole thing, which I was shocked. I mean, there was a lot of comments, a lot of replies within comments, and everybody was going against John Jones as being the GOAT.
Yeah.
So
Well,
even
because
though this
people
guy
have
came
short
up to you,
memories, man. People have short
Yeah, but I
memories.
was
But if you
surprised.
look at the accomplishments over the years, like if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you John Jones is the greatest of all time. Most guys will say that. Like, it's not like a crazy opinion to say John Jones is the greatest ever. Dana White thinks it. A lot of fighters think it. I just heard Leon Edwards interviewed on a podcast. He was asked, who's the greatest of all time? He said, John Jones. Like, it's the answer. It's not like I'm crazy for saying John Jones is the greatest of all time. Most people say that. It's like if you would ask like 100 MMA fans and 100 MMA fighters, who's the greatest fighter of all time? I think that the majority of them would say John Jones.
Man, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's hard. We should do some kind of
What?
survey. I'm telling you. Hey, there it is, man. I was
Happy
waiting for
birthday,
this.
Angelo.
Happy birthday, Angelo.
There he is. What a member.
There
What a
he
good
is,
guy.
right in the middle of the John Jones
I
argument.
love
Happy
it. Yeah,
birthday.
it's okay. Let's cut
Opa.
the argument
Angelo,
out. Let's end the
opa.
argument. We're good. You know, John Jones, is he the greatest of all time? Is he not? It's like
Angelo's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's the best. But it's like John Jones, there shouldn't be an argument as far as I'm concerned, so I don't even want to have it. Because I think, like, if you say he's not, tell me who is.
But you know what's interesting, Dave?
Tell me who is.
You know what's interesting is not to jump off topic, but kind
who-
of similar.
see,
was
you can't.
when me and
but
Fred.
hold on, AJ.
It's hard.
But you can't
But
tell
let me
me
finish
who is
before I
because
forget.
no one else went undefeated for that long, defending the title that many times.
You're right, and I'm going to pull off of MMA, and I'm going to go right into boxing. When Mike Tyson was going to fight Jake Paul, it was so hard for like both of us, including so many fans behind us, not thinking that Mike Tyson could lose to a Jake Paul. And I'm saying that's how you look at John Jones, is the way we looked at Mike Tyson in the days. But right now, knowing John Jones's career and whatnot, the guy is he would be considered the GOAT. A lot of people might disagree with us, and they have. We've got more backlash than anything I've ever seen in any of the shows on the whole Jones thing.
Yeah.
But on the Mike Tyson thing, I mean, look, I was so shocked that he would lose to Jake Paul.
Yeah, I was not
But
at
then
all
again,
because, I just
you weren't.
saw it differently. But John Jones, like, I wouldn't be shocked if he lost to Tom Aspinall. I would not be shocked. Tom Aspinall.
That's what I'm saying.
'cause
He's a beast, Tom Aspinall.
Jones was always like the younger guy. Aspinall now would be the younger guy. Jones is aging. He's in his like mid to late 30s or whatever. Like, yeah, he's getting older and nothing lasts forever. Like Anderson Silva was superhuman. He seemed unbeatable, and then he wasn't, and then he really wasn't unbeatable, and he was like pretty easily beaten. And you go, oh, okay, everything has an end. And I learned that, over a decade ago. So I'm pretty good with like understanding how fighting and the career span works. That's why John Jones is so amazing and such an anomaly, because the span of his career has been so much longer than any other champion in the history of the sport. That's why John Jones is the best. It's the longevity. It's incredible. To be that good, really, that young, and then maintain it throughout your 20s and 30s is really nuts. No one,
especially in the heavyweight division. Like when you look at the heavyweight division, of the years back, I mean, look at the guys that were there, man. Go all the way back, all the way to Brock Lesnar, man. But then again, at the light heavyweight, Jones was reigning champ, man. Forever. He came into the heavyweight and he was able to manhandle some of the guys that have been there for a long time.
Now that's the fight we never got that there was talked about. That's the John Jones fight. Like, for me, Jones and Brock was the fight that I wanted to see. And there was talk at one point of doing that. When Jones was like killing it at light heavyweight and Brock was kind of in and out at heavyweight. It was maybe around the time of the Mark Hunt fight when he came back. Like, there was talk of Brock Lesnar versus John Jones in a super fight in the UFC heavyweight division. And, like, I'm still more down for that fight than him fighting Tom Aspinall. As crazy as that may sound, I think it would be more fun. Brock and John
Yeah.
Jones? That would be sick.
Well, at that point there of John Jones's like
There was a time
career,
when
I mean,
it was
he
like
could have
seriously
probably
discussed.
done something interesting.
That
But that would
so
have made sense.
nasty.
But it's hard to say. And like John Jones now, like, you know, he's still there, but he's not really the, you know, one step away from like retirement. And that's
He's
what's
got to
probably
be at
going to
the
happen.
end. That's why I think
absolutely.
he should. That's why I said he should like not fight Aspinall and retire, because losing is a real possibility. And like, why risk the concussion now, and why risk the legacy and proving all your haters right? You know, why give them the satisfaction? Like, it's kind of like, nah, fuck those guys. Just walk away, man. It's not worth it. Who cares? You're the best ever. Some people will say you're scared, but like those people don't know shit. So who cares? Walk away, man.
You're right. But that's why I'm saying, like, when you look at Aspinall, when I see Aspinall, like the way he fights, like at his age, he's so young and whatnot. The guy is so well-rounded, man, for such a young fighter in the heavyweight division. He's amazing, and he will be the champion. It's gonna happen. You can see it.
He kind of is. But the thing is, AJ,
he will be a real champion.
Oh yeah,
like,
sure.
He is
like,
amazing.
Will he? Will he?
Look, if John Jones wasn't in the picture, and you're right, John Jones is the name that Aspinall needs to make money from. But if John Jones wasn't there, everybody would be on the Aspinall hype. But it would go back to, well, who's there really to be that much of a danger in the heavyweight division right now, which is pretty weak. You know, when Jones was fighting like in light heavyweight, man, a lot of guys could have went to heavyweight in a couple of weeks. Like, like between lightweight and heavyweight, they were very similar, man.
And this is why, like, the sport and the fans really piss me off, because so many of the fans are just idiots that don't know anything. Like, except the people that watch us, because they obviously get it. But, like, people will go, oh, Aspinall this, Aspinall that. Aspinall should fight Jones. When, like, 4 years ago, it was the same people going, Ngannou. Jones is scared of Ngannou. And it's like, hey, by the way, guys, Francis Ngannou never lost a UFC heavyweight championship. If Francis Ngannou walked into the octagon today, do you think he'd beat Tom Aspinall? I think he'd have a really good chance. So let's stop pretending like Tom Aspinall is this big threat and this big deal when fucking Ngannou was, and now everybody forgot about Ngannou because he walked over to the PFL, but Ngannou's still around. True. I'm not convinced Ngannou couldn't beat Tom Aspinall. I'm not convinced Cyril Gane couldn't beat Tom Aspinall. Like, these are fights that would also be fun, and Cyril Gane, I think, is a fight that needs to happen. Like, don't you think before Tom Aspinall gets to the big final boss of John Jones, he should have to fight a guy like Cyril Gane, who is a tough challenge? Like, clean out the heavyweight division a little bit. Do some work. Then maybe you get the big prize at the end of the rainbow. But until then, like, chill. I just, like, have we forgotten how this whole sport works? You don't just get what you want right away because, like, some fans are annoyed that John Jones wins all the time. That's not how it works. What about Ngannou? You know? Like, Ngannou is still the UFC heavyweight champion. He never lost it. So, why are we talking about Aspinall? It's because people have short memories. They forget. AJ, you even forgot. I had to remind you. And you're like, oh, yeah, Ngannou. Whatever happened to that guy?
You're right, man. And you know what? Which is such a shocker when you think about it, because Ngannou was like the boogeyman of like the heavyweight division. The guy was, you know,
still is, by the way.
He still is, but he's not relevant anymore. Like, you don't see him, but he's not in the UFC. And that's the problem with a lot of these fighters. And I get upset every time they step away from the UFC and they regret it. There's only one guy, Olivier Mercier, that walked away from the UFC and made a really, really good decision, a very lucrative decision, a two-time champion. But
Ngannou's made some money.
Yeah, but not like Olivier Mercier. Really?
No, more. What are you talking about? Ngannou's got so much out of the PFL. Bro.
Well, he made it more in the boxing than he did in the PFL. But what I'm trying to say is that even Olivier, who's a two-time champion,
come on,
it was, but it's like most people, you become irrelevant, man. And that's the thing with the UFC. If Ngannou was in the UFC right now, he would be like everybody would know who he is. Everybody would be saying, "Shit, man,
He'd be
I
fighting
want to
John
see
Jones.
Ngannou fight John Jones." And
Yeah.
that's the thing.
They'd be
Like
doing that.
Ngannou is not. He's just like he's behind the door, man. And we know that as fight fans. But in reality, you know, it's a shame. Ngannou leaving the UFC was the worst decision he's ever made. Yes, he went to boxing. I thought he went great, but it was a small, short-lived hype. You know what I'm saying?
It was still pretty cool. That Tyson Fury fight was
It was
iconic.
pretty cool. It was pretty cool, dude. But it would have been much cooler if he was a UFC champion. You know what I'm saying? You could still carry that weight right now. That's the difference. That's the power of the UFC. No matter how you spin it, you know, they're the Super Bowl all the time. And
no,
you know,
he made
and you
more
look- and you
money.
look at-
He made more
Look,
money outside of the UFC.
look.
He made the right call, I think, for himself.
Look, Francis Ngannou, like when I look at the on some of the stats on GMS and whatnot, like Francis Ngannou is still ranked number 1 as the greatest heavyweight fighters in history. He's up there. He's number 1. Then you got Stipe, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos at 4th. 5th is Brock Lesnar. 6th is Fabricio Verdum, which was a beast. You know, you got. Listen, I'm just saying this is.
Who's
one
making
stat
this
here.
ranking? Because they're forgetting somebody.
Who? John Jones. He's ranked
No.
7th according to them.
What?
You got
Okay.
Frank Mir at number 8.
This
you
is
got
UFC?
Tom Aspinall. Yeah, UFC.
Okay.
Ranked 9th is Tom Aspinall, and the 10th is
UFC
Randy
heavyweights.
Couture, one of my favorites.
We're not talking about greatest heavyweights of all time. We're talking about
no,
greatest UFC,
UFC
heavyweights.
Just UFC.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We know one guy who's not there.
'Cause I was
that we're
like,
probably going to talk about.
Where's Fedor? What are we doing?
Exactly.
Fedor's obviously the greatest. Prime Fedor kills Prime John Jones easily, bro. That's the only
100%.
guy. Honestly,
What?
like, I'm not even kidding when I say this. I think Prime Fedor, peak Fedor, Pride
Dude,
Fedor.
that's not normal.
I don't think
not human.
anybody ever in the history of MMA beats him. Nobody.
No. And I agree with
Nobody.
you. And that's a
He
shame.
was Fedor is the GOAT. Fedor is probably the greatest fighter of all time. Because like at heavyweight, Pride era
I
Fedor,
agree with you on that.
you're not even touching him. You're not coming close. And I think still today, that guy walks into the octagon, everybody's fucked. Probably at light heavyweight,
you're
or
gonna
like
shake.
middleweight, you know, but still fucked.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And that's the only guy that's never been on the throne of the UFC, but still considered the greatest fighter probably in the history of MMA.
I
and
love
Joe
him
Rogan
so
actually
much.
said that not too long ago. He says the greatest fighter of all time is Fedor.
Fyodor
And most people don't.
Emelianenko, the
you know
last
what?
fucking emperor.
Incredible. The greatest fighter, you know, tactician,
The man.
power, strength, and fear, man. He was like the Mike Tyson times 2 in MMA. But and that's the thing. Even Mike Tyson acknowledged Fedor. That shows you how cool Mike Tyson is. But I'm going to
Still,
tell you something.
One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life was being at a Fedor fight. Like that's fucking
crazy.
Crazy. Like just
That's
being
crazy, man.
seeing Fedor like walk to a cage and being like, "Oh my god, Fedor's about to fight in front of me." Dude, it was a crazy.
Do you remember
He
his
lost.
like walking into the ring or the octagon, just like his stare down. The man had no emotion, man. Just like a stone killer.
And it was still like
crazy.
this was. I want to take you back for a moment. Fedor,
It's sad, you know, like
because he had just lost to Verdum, I think. So like, yes. So Fedor was like, he had the aura of unstoppable, right? He was impossible to beat. And then he runs into Fabricio Verdum, and so Fabricio puts him in a triangle, and Fedor taps. And everybody's like, what? Fedor just lost? Right? But Fedor kind of put himself in the triangle, got out of it, and then put himself back in and was like, oh, I can get out of it, but Verdum had a hell of a triangle, and he caught him, and he caught him. And these things happen, right? But you figured, oh, that was a fluke. Fedor's still Fedor. And then he goes into this next fight against Bigfoot Silva, and I go, oh, well, it's a Strikeforce Grand Prix. This is Fedor's comeback fight. He's going to fucking destroy this guy. And so, like, going into it, it was like, oh, Fedor's still Fedor. You know, like, there was no, like, oh, he's not that guy anymore. He's not it's like, no, he's still Fedor. Fabricio just caught him. He got a lucky triangle, and, you know, it happens. But then
Fabricio
Fedor
was
got
no
his
joke,
ass
man.
kicked by Antonio Silva. TKO stoppage after the second round. Fedor couldn't continue, and the crowd was just like in shock. First of all, it was like 75% Russian guys in the arena, and they couldn't believe it. It was like quiet, dead quiet at the end of that night. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, but that was a doctor stoppage too, and sometimes these doctors, man, they call the fights.
Dude, Fedor, it was like
man.
the night where you're like, oh, it's over. Like it was the night where it's like, oh, the Fedor thing, that thing that makes him unbeatable, it's not there
Just
anymore.
like Mike Tyson, dude. That's how Mike Tyson was perceived, And I agree with you, man. Like those 3 losses were like the end of the throne, but still, it was
Verdum,
just like a rut for him.
Silva, and then Dan Henderson, who knocked him out right after
Henderson
that.
fight,
and you go, wow.
Yeah, that was a bit fucked up, that one too. Like I remember that fight. I was like, it didn't make sense. It's almost like
it was a weird punch.
I don't want to say staged.
It was a weird knockout.
It was weird.
It was
weird, man. It was
he
weird.
was like,
but then he came back, Fedor, and
then Hendo threw that weird uppercut, and Fedor just dropped. And then the ref's like, it's
weird,
over,
man.
and you're like, is it?
No, but Fedor was still trying to grab the ankle there. Like,
it was
Fedor
weird.
was still okay. Like, there was no reason to stop. So those 3 losses, like, okay, other than the Verdum one, which was a legit loss, like the Antonio Silva one to me was like, get out of here. That's bullshit. Fedor could keep fighting with one arm, and you could see that he doesn't argue. That's the one thing with Fedor is that he knows that it was a bullshit call, but he never flinches, never shows any emotion. And he was like, okay, well, if you feel that I lost, I lost. And the Dan Henderson one was such bullshit. The only time I saw emotion, which was funny, is when he fought Mark Coleman. When he fought Mark Coleman after the fight was over, I think it was that fight where Mark Coleman brought his kids into the ring and he was trying to tell them like, don't cry and everything. And he was trying to like smile and everything. And I was like, man, I've never seen like Fedor want to smile, but it was just like a weird moment. But yeah, Fedor, I would agree with you, the greatest of all time. And I don't think anybody could dispute that. Not even Verdum can dispute that. Yeah, was that the Coleman fight?
Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy. Look at Coleman, man. And you know what? I got to say one thing. Coleman actually follows Ringside Report quite a bit on on Insta, and he's always giving us like some comments. I love Mark Coleman, man. He's gone through so much, saved his parents, great father. The guy is always like, he's such a fighter, man. Like Mark Coleman is a beast. But man, that fight with Fedor was insane. Look at the shape, man. Look at the shape.
Fyodor Emelianenko. Oh, the shape. Fedor kettlebells. Hold on. Where's that? Oh, there we go. You want to see the shape? Peak Fedor. Peak Fedor.
That's scary, man. That was scary.
The Fedor kettlebell picture is like famous.
I think Fedor.
No one is messing with this man right here.
No, man, that's insane.
Beast.
You remember Fedor when he was doing his training camp and he was like using the sledgehammer over the truck tire?
Yeah.
The minute that he did that,
everybody did that.
Like, everybody started doing that. Every like circuit training, like cross training, whatever kind of training, they're all following Fedor.
We all saw what Fedor did, and we're like, I'm gonna do what Fedor does because it clearly works. Clearly works. You can look like you have like a regular, just kind of normal body, little chub on you, and be a killer. So whatever he's doing, that's what we gotta do. The man.
What a. But you know what? That's the shame of it all. Because if Fedor would have been like the king of the UFC light heavyweight or heavyweight division, everybody would know Fedor, just like everybody knows like Khabib and George.
The UFC
I don't want to say anything.
Play it up too,
Oh, to the fullest, bro. Because you couldn't get any better representative of MMA than Fedor, and he's such a nice guy too. I know guys that have met Fedor. Actually, the twins. We know the twins. Who are one of them is in Russia. I believe he's still in Russia training jiu-jitsu. And Fedor came to see him, and he says the guy was awesome. That's the thing with Fedor. He's like the Russian George St. Pierre.
Everybody loves Fedor. And Fedor was doing the MMA fighter pose with Donald Trump way before it became popular. Like, he's a real innovator when it comes to being an MMA fighter hanging with Trump. And even Vladimir Putin. I mean, he's down with the program, Fedor.
Well,
Fedor,
listen, the reason why...
Fedor was hanging with Putin and Trump way before. Look, Tim Sylvia, the Maniac, is there with Trump.
Wow,
Like,
Tim Sylvia, I remember him. Jesus,
look at that. Look
wow,
at that.
blast from the past, man.
Josh
Those
Barnett
were
and
some
Donald
good
Trump
days.
right there.
Josh Barnett, Josh was amazing. I think he's running a jiu-jitsu or a MMA gym in his hometown.
So,
Look at that guy,
Fedor
man.
was doing
Look
it
at
way
that guy.
before it became popular, hanging out with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin before they even were friends, or maybe not. I don't know. But, Fedor,
they were.
now all the MMA fighters, they're all posing with Donald Trump because he's at all the fights. But this is way back in the days at Affliction when Donald Trump was, I think, one of the promoters or owners of Affliction.
Yeah, he was.
like
Well, what
helping
he
them in
did
the
is-
promotion. He was
Well,
involved.
in fact, he was very involved. And that's the thing with Donald Trump that most people don't know is that if it wasn't for Donald Trump to give a lot of his casino spaces to the UFC would have never been able to roll forward. And in fact, a lot of other places like Strikeforce and whatnot,
Do you see this?
the Trumpster actually
Yikes.
helped a lot of the MMA scene.
Yikes. There's a
Who's that?
Don Jr. at an Affliction
Wow,
press
back
conference.
in the days. Jesus, what year was that?
I don't know.
2004?
Fedor and Josh Barnett, the fight that didn't happen. 2008?
2008.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. Is that insane?
What a time. What a time to be
What a
alive.
time, man. Yep.
Donald
And you
Trump
know what? Like,
promoting MMA. It happened. It did happen.
it happened, man.
Yeah.
And it was all real. Like
That's
we
why
gotta,
when
like,
you see him at fights, like, I believe it. He's a
There's a-
fan. He's always been involved in fights.
And he knows his stuff. And the thing is like I said, most people don't know that the Trumpster is the reason why the UFC actually was able to break through in 2000. Nobody wanted to sanction
All right.
UFC fights,
Let's-
but it's true, Dave. Let's
All
be
right,
honest.
I don't want to give the guy too much credit because I like to give him zero
but
credit.
it's true.
I like to give him minus
Including
credit.
boxing, he helped.
Yeah, he's not great.
Trump
He's not my favorite guy.
Did it for like the UFC. That's why Dana White is like so like respectful towards him. It goes really deeper than just elections,
Yeah, I feel you. Patrick C. Hamilton says, I agree with you, Dave and AJ. Happy birthday, Angelo. Dropping the super chat. Thank you, Patrick.
Angelo.
He says, this is a great discussion. He's been a member for
We gotta bring
53
Angelo.
months. Thank you for the
Gotta
support,
bring Angelo
Patrick.
to a strip joint.
Out in Regina, Saskatchewan. We appreciate you, Patrick. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for the
Thank you very much.
well wishes to Angelo as well. And I'm glad you enjoyed our discussion about John Jones and the heavyweight championship and the current state of affairs. I did say we're going to talk about BJ Penn. Oh, we should mention, though, we're talking about Fedor a little bit. There are rumors that he's going to box Mike Tyson, which I'm sure you're excited about. I think it's kind of
Exactly.
like, all right, can we leave these guys alone?
I think that
But
would be
whatever.
awesome. I think that would be awesome. So talking about Fedor, like you said, yeah. So the rumors is that they want to put Mike Tyson up against Fedor. So it's a Russian organization. They were looking at the numbers of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson that hit over 100 million, subscribers on Netflix, which is insane. So you know what? Why not? I'd pay to see Tyson fighting Fedor in a boxing match. I mean, look. I think I would put my money on Fedor because those mule hits from Fedor are probably doing like Mike Tyson at this point. I never thought I would go against Mike Tyson, but after that Jake Paul fight, it didn't look so good, right?
Come on.
It didn't look so good.
I think I would go with Mike Tyson, though, if it is a boxing match, because Fedor is pretty over the hill as well, and he's not a boxer.
Have you? No, he's still training, but
yeah, but so is Mike Tyson. That doesn't mean they're still fighting.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I know.
I mean,
right.
It'll be a tough one to say, but it'll be interesting to see.
Speaking of tough things to see, BJ Penn seems to be totally unraveling. I don't know what's going on. His mental state is clearly not where it needs to be. His mother had him arrested because he has been claiming and posting on social media and apparently doing some, not great things to her. He's been claiming that his mother is not his mother. It's some other lady who has killed his mother to take the place of his mother and take their fortune or something. It's, there's delusions going on. BJ Penn is not in his right mind. I don't know exactly what's happening with him. Maybe it's CTE, maybe it's drug abuse, maybe it's mental issues, maybe it's a combination of all three, but he's definitely not doing well. And it is sad to see BJ Penn doing so poorly, and his family obviously struggling. His mom had to file a restraining order against him, which you can imagine how bad things have gotten if your own mother's filing a restraining order against you and having you arrested because she fears for her safety because you're barricading her in her room and doing all sorts of stuff where she has to call her other sons to like help her escape. It's really
a tough
very
one, man.
bad situation that's happening with
How old is
BJ Penn.
BJ right now?
So he was arrested this week, and
Yeah, how old is he, Dave? Like he's what, 44? Where's he at? I mean, he's not that old.
no.
You know what I'm saying? But like he only had like 3 like knockout losses in his career.
He went through some wars, and he's been fighting his whole life.
Wars.
He's 46 years old.
46.
Here's a story from MMA Fighting. BJ Penn's mother, Lorraine Shin, filed a restraining order against her son after he was arrested twice in the past couple of days. This is a story from earlier this week, from 2 days ago. She filed a restraining order, and in the restraining order, there are allegations claiming extreme psychological abuse over the past several months, claiming that she is not Lorraine Shin, that that his own mother killed his family and taken over the mother's identity, and then he wants her removed from his home. BJ Penn posted on his Instagram with an alert to the Hilo, Hawaii Police Department saying, "I need your help. My mother, Lorraine Shin, my brother, J.D. Penn, my brother, Regan Penn, and my brother, Kalani Mamazuka were all murdered, and I need you to investigate these guys, get these people out of my house and off my properties."
It's a shame,
So he
man.
thinks that his entire family was murdered and replaced with duplicates, doppelgangers, whatever, people that look like them, which is obviously, some kind of delusion. In the restraining order, BJ's mother alleges that she returned home from a trip earlier this month and found all her belongings, shoes, clothes, jewelry, and her bed even removed from her bedroom. BJ denied
Yeah, I saw
knowing
that
where
one.
the things were. She then filed a theft report with the police. She says a few days later, her personal purse, her driver's license, credit card, and locks for her safe were stolen. She made another theft report. Then BJ
Crazy,
allegedly
man.
told her that all the items in the safe were his. There were security cameras installed. BJ was caught taking them down and put glue in her deadbolts that stopped her from opening her bedroom door.
Yeah.
Allegedly locking his mother in her bedroom. So eventually BJ was arrested and the restraining order was filed. Seems to be several altercations. One where she was trying to call the police. BJ was
Fucked up. That's what you're trying to say. Like too many.
He was shining a
swan dives into
flashlight
empty
allegedly,
pools.
and she had to call her other son to help and dial 911.
It's sad, man. It's very sad because, like, this is BJ Penn. Like, a very, very skilled, dangerous fighter, that could possibly end your life without any weapons. And that's the problem. You have like senior mom and you have like the brothers and other family members and all that kind of stuff. Somebody has to do something. I mean, you can arrest him. You put like his bond was like $2,000. And then he got another one, which was $1,000. I mean, the guy has money. There's no doubt about it. BJ Penn comes from a very wealthy family, but he also is a very wealthy individual from his career. The guy has been fighting since 2001. When did he?
Yeah,
When did he
long
start?
time.
2011.
He's made some money. He's made some money.
He's made a lot of
Yeah.
money. What I'm trying to say is that you need more than just to arrest him and let him go. I mean, this guy needs like some serious intervention. I mean, he needs a Dr. Phil literally to be there,
Yeah.
and they gotta find out what's going on. They gotta look at this guy to see with CT scans to see if there's any damage to the brain, which seems either he's on some heavy drugs, he's having some like gray matter, from like
I don't know.
the post-fight life.
Yeah.
Or it could be a combination of both.
Well, that's
Either
it, man.
or,
It's hard to tell exactly what's going
hard
on,
to
but
tell.
clearly BJ Penn is not he's not doing well, and it's just sad. And hopefully he
Dude,
can
but
get
they
some
gotta
sort of
stop him.
medical help to make him better. You know?
But Dave, listen, when do you have to wait till someone dies, which could happen? And you know
Well,
what?
I mean,
it would
he's
be a
been
shame
arrested.
for BJ Penn.
He's been arrested. There
still,
is a
they let him go,
restraining
man.
order, and his mother is asking the state to kind of take over and give him kind of court mandated, medical treatment, psychological treatment, which seems to be where he needs to go and where it needs to head. But who knows if that's actually going to happen? So
It's sad, man. It's sad to see BJ Penn, like when we're talking about legends and whatnot. BJ Penn is a legend, man. One of the greatest, fighters in UFC history as well.
yeah,
But this is not good.
That's
At
it.
46 years old,
it's sad
it's
to
not
see BJ, in this kind of state and his family in turmoil. And then there's like another restraining order that was filed against him by his, I guess, former girlfriend, wife, and then his child. So he's like not allowed to see his own children. His mother is
he's
like
got into
scared
so much trouble
to be around him.
Remember,
it's just sad.
Remember, he tried to fight some bouncer and he got knocked out. Like, who's to
Yeah,
say that
he fought
wasn't
at
the
a
cause
bar
of
a
it?
few years ago. There have been incidents with BJ over the past
Yeah.
several years. He's gonna be a dark side of the cage one day, and I don't
Oh
like
man,
it.
I hope not. I hope like they can help him, because it'd be a shame, because it's hard to see someone who didn't look, he wasn't like a heel in the sport. He was actually a pretty
he was
clean cut
loved.
guy.
Yeah,
He was loved. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying
For
that
a
you
long
like
time-
want to see.
for a long time, people said BJ was the greatest fighter of all time.
That's right, and technically he was for a certain
Kind
period
of,
of time.
yeah.
He was, and that's the thing.
First
it's,
double champ,
even if the guy
right?
first double champ, man, he did so
He
many
was,
things
right?
in
He
the
was the first
BJJ
two-division champion
side.
in the UFC, or was it Randy
Listen,
Couture?
Listen,
Did
BJ
beat
Penn
him? I
is
think
the
BJ beat him to it.
Super chat.
well, yeah, and BJ Penn is the only guy in jiu-jitsu that received his black belt in a year. That is unheard of. It takes usually 10 years to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And this guy was so good that BJ Penn was that much of a natural athlete that they awarded him a black belt. He's the record book, man, holder of getting a black belt. That's how good BJ Penn was. He was a true martial artist, so something has to be done. Something is wrong with this guy, and I feel for him. And hopefully he's listening to our show. Bud, we love you and everything, but you need to get help.
Yeah, no, Randy Couture was
wish
the
we
first
could help
double
him.
champion in the UFC. Sorry about that. I thought Randy was probably before. Randy was a heaveight champion,
Randy
won the
was?
heavyweight championship in 2000,
Yeah.
and then won the light heavyweight title, beating Tito Ortiz in 2003. BJ Penn won the welterweight championship back in 2000.
What, 11?
No. He won the welterweight championship against Matt Hughes in 2004. And then won the lightweight title from Joe Stevenson in 2008. It was vacant in 2008, and he won it. And then he defended against the former champion, Sean Shirk, who had it stripped. That's why it was vacant. Shirk tested
I was thinking
positive for
2011
steroids.
I was thinking 2011, that was the beginning of the end of BJ Penn, because then he ended up on a 7-fight losing streak that went from 2011 to 2019. And that was like really the
2010.
decline of BJ Penn. Was it 2010? Okay,
Yeah,
I
the
thought it was
Frankie fights were in
2011.
2010. The two fights against Frankie
Yeah.
Edgar.
And
which
then,
BJ
and then
was
it was
so
all over
great
for
at
BJ.
the time and looked at as like the best lightweight ever, that when Frankie Edgar first beat him, people were like, that was just a weird one. It was in Abu Dhabi. It was too hot for BJ. It didn't count. BJ didn't take him serious. It wasn't real. And then Edgar was like, okay, cool. Let's do it again. And then like 3 months later, they fought again, and it was the exact same result. And then people were like, oh, okay. I guess BJ's not champion anymore. And then he, in 2011, he did start to lose. You're right, though. He bounced back from the Frankie Edgar fights by knocking out Matt Hughes, but then he had a draw with John Fitch that I think Fitch really won, and then he lost the rest of his fights.
Yeah, the 7-fight
Diaz,
losing streak from then on, yeah.
Nick Diaz, Rory McDonald, Frankie Edgar again, Yair Rodriguez, Dennis Seaver, Ryan Hall, and then Clay Guida in his final fight in 2019.
Yeah, he lost to Ryan Hall as well, man. That was like, that was insane. Yeah, that was insane. And you never know, man. It's just, it's not looking good. And I think Angelo says it best. I see a comment from Angelo, and he says, who knows where the story turns next? And that's the problem. Like you said, it could be the dark side of the octagon. And let's hope it's not. Let's hope we're like, things turn for the better, but they need to do it now because the guy is getting crazier every day. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this doesn't have a really bad ending. Hopefully he turns it around and it's better and things improve for BJ Penn. But yeah, some sad news for sure out of Hawaii from the BJ Penn world. Angelo dropping that super chat. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you to Angelo. Thank you to Patrick. Thank you to all the members supporting over at join.ringsidereport.net. Patrick, you are the super chat leader of the night. Thank you for that.
I hope Angelo saw his birthday card on our show, man.
Yes.
I'm not sure, Angelo. Let us know if you saw the birthday card. We flashed it.
Did we just go off? No, we're still here. Thank you to everybody tuning in and checking us out tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night with Johnny North for some pro wrestling. Wrestling Uncensored will be back tomorrow night here on the Ringside Report Network. We'll be talking about all sorts of wrestling things. There it is, Angelo. Happy birthday,
there we go, Angelo. Bravo.
I will leave you on that. We'll see you again real soon right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out